And here we are, once again, Money, Motivation, and Mike, coming to you as we continue to go down the road here of tax season, as April 15th continues to approach, and numerous people, I don't have the number right now, and I typically do by this time, of how many tax returns have actually been filed as of the March 15th time, which is 30 days before the actual deadline. But I will have that to us very, very soon. But a couple of tidbits from our previous show. I was basically joking around about the Augusta Rule and with that 14 days of tax-free money that you can rent your house and not have to not only claim it, but not to pay income tax on it. And as Jason did his research in between shows, the Augusta Rule does come from homeowners in Augusta, Georgia, which really, really hacks me off, Jason.
Yeah.
That they have that kind of power in Augusta, Georgia, to get deductions, or let's say tax-free, not even a deduction, to get tax law put on the books over a freaking golf tournament. And I love golf.
Yeah.
It just hacks me off that they're able to do that. So that is the Augusta Rule. After some local residents of Augusta, Georgia, we need to find out, when was the Augusta Rule put in play? This is my 36th year to do taxes, and I know the 14-day rule has been on the Schedule E for a long, long time. But in the meantime, hey, what you think about this LaGuardia airport situation?
I don't know much about it. I did see something about a mistake by an air traffic controller. Is that what you're referring to?
He admitted to that.
Yeah, that he made a mistake. I believe he gave clearance to a fire truck.
Fire truck was gone. Right? Driving across runway number 4 at LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah.
And, he did real quickly figure out that he had got this fire truck going in the wrong direction. He was going to they had smoke, or they had a smell in another airplane, maybe something that caught on fire. But they smelt smoke. They smelt fire, smoke, whatever. Wasn't in the cockpit, wasn't in the actual plane, but they smelt it, so they wanted to have the fire department to come out and check on it.
Yeah.
So here we go with this fire truck shooting across the airport.
Yep.
And asked for clearance to cross runway number 4, and an Air Canada airplane was landing. And they predicted that the airplane was somewhere between 95 and 105 miles an hour when it hit the fire truck. The 2 pilots killed, probably instantly. And this is more of a commuter, like what I would refer it to, American Airlines, their little small
American Eagles, I think.
American Eagle.
Yeah. Smaller jets, but yeah.
I believe there was only 2 flight attendants, and the flight attendant up at the front was thrown from the plane, found on the runway, still in her chair.
Wow.
And I don't even know if she had a broken bone. There was the fireman in the fire truck, and I don't know if there was a firewoman in there or not. I think it was just firemen. None of them was killed. Broken bones. Have you seen the pictures of this thing?
I've seen some of the pictures used in the headlines.
That fire truck is mangled.
Yeah.
And I can't believe these guys survived. They have just been hit by a airplane, let's just say going 100 miles an hour, and they lived through it. And it's interesting, that the pilots were killed. I guess the fire truck, such a big contraption of equipment, saved them.
A little more heavy duty,
I guess so.
And that aluminum frame of that airplane. Go. Yeah.
That airplane's not built for crashes.
Yeah. Because
seldom do they happen. It is built for aerodynamics.
That's right.
And unfortunately, if you haven't heard the recording from the air traffic controller, I mean, you can hear the frantic panic in his voice. Stop, stop, stop. And I think he said it 8 or 9 times, and they hit. That airplane went up in the air. The neck of the airplane was over the top of the fire truck. And so now pilots are dead. Flight attendant ejected. I'm going to say, now that I think about this, there was only one flight attendant because the passengers got the door open, got the little slide, and got everybody off. And there were about 40 passengers who were injured, broken bones, etc., that were treated. I believe all of them were taken to the hospital. But in LaGuardia Airport, having to shut down for any period of time is
major affair.
Major.
Yeah.
Major. Yeah. Like the Panama Canal shutting down. Probably not to that degree. Maybe a little over exaggeration. But hey, things happen. And right off the bat, the air traffic controller on the radio, I messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've also heard from Federal Aviation that there were not enough air traffic controllers in the tower at this particular evening. It was raining. It was foggy. I don't know that that's necessarily the reason. I mean, you know, a plane's coming in. You're in charge of doing that. You know, you have sent a fire truck across the airport. So whether you can see it or not, I would think that. But they say it's one of the most stressful jobs in the world.
That's correct.
And you've got a lot of people's lives in your hand. Hence, what just happened.
Very little room for error, for sure.
But you hardly ever hear about something like that happening. Air traffic is still the best way to travel.
Yeah.
Safest way to travel.
Right.
With people like you and me out on the streets, Jason.
I know that's right.
Okay. Well, I'm still aggravated about the Augusta Rule. I don't know if I'm happy that you found that information out or hacked off that you found that information out. But on to tax matters, and we discussed Schedule E and what real estate is all about, because that is an easier way. It takes capital, but it is the easiest way, in my opinion, for a hardworking individual, a family, both the spouses are working, to be able to go out and get into something, which is rental property, because that rental property works while you are at work. But we also have small businesses out there. We also have the farming. Now, not as much farming as we had 100 years ago. Did you know when the IRS started up, I believe 1933? 1933 and 1935. Now, you think about that. The IRS, the Internal Revenue, starts up during the Great Depression. Right in the middle of this deal. How are we going to make some money? Let's start taxing people.
Yeah, the people who don't have the money.
Yeah, the country is broke, can't afford rice and beans, and we're going to throw an income tax on them. But I think it was like 1933, 1935. But whatever year it was, the most used schedule, form, whatever you want to call it, was the farm schedule. And I don't know that it was called Schedule F back in those days, but it was the farm, because 80% of the United States of America were farmers. Now we're down to 10. I know it's less than 20. It's just a total flip-flop from what it was 100 years ago, because there is very little money in farming and ranching. I guess unless you know what you're doing, it's still tough times. It's you talk about being married to something, being married to those animals. Did you find that thing down there for me, Jason? What year it was?
Well, the IRS was formed in 1862.
Oh, that's
permanent income tax was 1913.
Okay. Maybe it was 1913 instead of 1932.
Maybe.
I don't know. A long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't give me any relief in the Great Depression anyway. You know what? There probably wasn't a whole lot of money to be paying taxes during that time.
No.
But Schedule F, obviously anything to do with the farm or ranching goes on Schedule F. Numerous expenses that go along the way. There are parts on the tax return where you can go to the sale, you can buy however you get your livestock, whether you're buying it or whether you're raising it. And there is a difference, and obviously those go into two different places. But when you go out and isn't meat right now at a very, very high price? I mean, right now is the time to be selling some cattle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes,
it's way up there.
Hey, by the way, when you're dealing with farmers and ranchers, don't call them cows.
What do you call them?
Cattle.
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 I'm with you.
And each one of these animals, steer, heifer, right on down the line, that kind of stuff. Yeah, they're not cows. That's why you get a pitchfork through your nose calling them cows. Yes, I have been told many years ago, as when my farming and ranching tax return clients come in the door, they're not cows. Don't forget that, Jason.
Okay.
Yes, sir. But you feed, fertilizer, lime. It's kind of interesting to go look at a Schedule F and see all the different type of expenses that are on here that you wouldn't normally think about until you've been in the farming and ranching business. Lime.
Yeah.
Lime has its own category on the tax return. Of course, you'd think veterinarian that you're going to have there, but breeding, medicine, these things exist, but you don't think about the fact that it has a whole lot to do with that particular profession. Custom hire, work. I mean, there's part on there for welding, and so forth and so on, and right on down the list. And, if you are buying cattle to sell it, so you went to let's just call it, you went to the, to the sale, the weekly sale, and you bought 100 head, and you're going to put them on your land and feed them and beef them up with the intent of selling them at a later date. All right. That particular cattle goes into inventory. Okay. But let's say you have a bull and you're going to keep that bull around for years. Obviously, putting him out to stud, the breeding process, the whole deal. A lot of AI stuff going on as well. But the bull is not part of the cattle. The bull is an asset. The bull gets depreciated. Interesting.
Yeah.
And most of your animals are depreciated in a 3-year period. The acceleration of those particular animals is because, the wear and tear. They're out there in the 100-degree heat, and they're out there in the 0-degree weather. So their opportunities for expire is great. Therefore, their lifespan is only 3 years, according to the depreciation book that we have at our fingertips when it comes along to farming and ranching. Now, we also have programs in this country to subsidize the farmers and ranchers, and we'll just use the crops. When you lose your crops, you have an opportunity from the federal government to get crop insurance, or you get proceeds back, and all those particular things, such as Community Credit Corporation, the PART that goes along with your distributions from your co-ops. All those particular things, you can have help from your, in essence, disaster relief, but that is income, and there are spots on your tax return. Every farmer that we prepare taxes for has some subsidy coming from the federal government. That tells you how hard it is to farm and ranch. We don't just have a goat rancher who walks in and he sold 500 goats this year, and he had a basis in them. He gave X amount of dollars for them, and he has some medicine, some hay, and some feed, wrote off some mileage on his truck, and goes on down the road. They all have disaster relief, some kind of check coming from the federal government. And I don't know that they could make it without it. Just a very, very, very difficult thing that you walk into the grocery store and you expect for your produce to be full. You expect for the cheese section to have all the dairy products. You expect for the meat section to have regular old cattle, beef, and pork all to be there. Can you imagine a senior citizen walking into the grocery store and they can't find any bacon?
Oh, man.
Be a bad deal.
A bad day, for sure.
Yeah, bad. No bacon, no eggs.
That's right.
We do not realize what these farmers and ranchers do on a regular basis. Hey, I say give them all the subsidies they want.
Yeah. You imagine just one bad year for a farmer can put them out of business.
Without any disaster relief, that is correct.
Yeah.
Now, here's something that really will astonish you. From right here where we are on the Red River, Jason, and you go from here to downtown Dallas, which is about 65 miles. Have you ever looked at the tractor distributors dealerships that we have.
There's more than a handful.
And they're always busy.
Oh, yeah.
You don't ever see them going, there's John Deere dealership 15 miles from here. They got more John Deere tractors than I thought that John Deere could make in 1 year.
Yeah.
It is incredible. And then right down the street, Mahindra. And then there's another John Deere one before you go into the McKinney, Texas area. There are dealerships all along the Highway 75 corridor. Now, this is what would blow you away. Go in there and ask them how much one of them combines are. You know, the one with the tires that are taller than you are?
Yeah. It depends on which one you're going for, but anywhere between 300 and 700,000.
I was just going to tell you, you're going to get an old average one, $500,000.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in one of those big old combines? Huge.
No, I've definitely I've seen them.
Okay,
I've never been on one. No, I've not been on one myself. They're pretty fancy though inside.
That is a treat.
Yeah.
I've got a client, and we've talked about it one day, and he obviously knows I haven't spent a whole lot of time on the farm. Matter of fact, I couldn't spell farm, but unless I get Schedule F out and see how you spell farm. So I went out to his farm, and I got in one of these John Deeres. He's got a Cadillac John Deere. I mean, it's air conditioned. I mean, there's no sweating in this cab, and the electronics.
Yeah,
literally all it's from the eye in the sky. It knows exactly where the fences are. It tells you when to turn the tractor.
Yep, GPS.
And all you have to do is kind of get it back online.
Yep, get in line and turn it on.
Not getting in line, just get it close.
Oh, yeah.
And the satellite will put the tractor, this how many ever ton tractor, back in line, and you look behind you, and there hadn't been any overlap with the plow, no nothing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Oh, it is.
I mean, you fall asleep in that cab.
Yeah.
And it's going to start beeping when it gets close to a fence, so you know.
I know.
We got to reevaluate here.
I think I missed my calling.
I did not.
I would sit in that harvester all day. In fact, I've watched YouTube videos of these guys just doing this. It's relaxing.
If you can farm in one of those big old tractors and it be required that you don't have to take your cell phone in there,
yeah,
I might reconsider, because I love getting away from the phone.
Well, some of these farms, you don't have much cell service, so you're probably not an issue.
Well, they've got something in there, because them machines are just controlled. It's like space shuttle.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
Never mind the whole harvest process in there and how that technical.
Yeah, these machines literally prep the dirt, throw the crop in the ground, and cover it up in one swoop. It's
incredible.
It is. The technology there is, and to think, Jason, they used to do this with donkeys and horses.
Yeah.
Behind a plow.
Right.
With running through rock. Yeah. Man. Maybe we did miss our calling.
I think so.
See, when I look at farmer, I'm thinking about green acres.
Of course, we like the easy part of it. There's a much more difficult side of this whole thing.
Yeah, I think the green acres part of me is the Zsa Zsa Gabor. New York is where I'd rather be.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, moving right along with the Schedule F and into the Schedule C. The reason I'm combining both of these in the same episode is because they both go one and the same, except for the F specializes on farming and ranching, and basically the Schedule C is everything else to do with the business. So if you're selling popcorn, if you're selling hot dogs, if you have a snow cone stand, if you're running your own landscape company, in my early days of prepping tax returns, I was a sole proprietor before I got into realizing what entities were. LLCs and corporations and partnerships and things that we've talked about that stuff, but it's been a couple of years ago. There is an episode out there on Money, Motivation, and Mike that gets into that. But nevertheless, Schedule F is it's not as complicated of an animal as is what is the farm, but it is everything else that is not the farm. This is where it would go, other than the rental property. Schedule C, small business, sole proprietorship. Now remember, when you make money, on a Schedule F or a Schedule C, that income is subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes, which is 15.3%. So if you make a profit in either one of your businesses on either one of these particular forms, you owe 15.3% because you're now self-employed. When you have a W-2, your employer takes out Social Security and Medicare, which is 7.65%. But when you are self-employed, you have to pay double that because your employer matches the 7.65, and that's where the 15.3 comes into play, which should give you more incentive to be more punctual on keeping up with your expenses. And a whole lot of people go into business not realizing everything that they can deduct. So once again, get with your tax professional before you go into your business, not at the end of the year after you've been in business 6, 8, 10 months and really don't know what you've just done with all your bookkeeping, your records, your bank statements, etc. You need to get with your tax professional. You need to get with them right now. They will help you set your business up the proper way, which probably is not a sole proprietorship, more in the entity sector. But nevertheless, Schedule F, Schedule C, they're there. And as I talked about in the previous episode, Schedule E, there is a whole lot more to tax returns than just the 1040 that each and every tax-paying citizen in the United States of America can be taken advantage of if they do just a little bit of homework and gather some information to get themselves to the next step. Now, I'm not talking to anybody on our show, Jason, because we are some highly motivated watchers and listeners on Money, Motivation, and Mike. But there are a few people that just want to sit on the couch and complain about their lives. Those people will never know about Schedule C, Schedule E, or Schedule F. So this is probably not an episode for them. But the other 300,000 members, subscribers that we have, this is for you. Contact us. Contact your professional. Come up with that particular profession that you've been thinking about for a long, long time. Now it's time to make it happen and motivate yourself to go out and do that. Get a hold of one of the episodes in the past that can help you motivate yourself and being accountable to whatever it is that you're wanting to change in your life. As always, contact me, info@mx3.vip, and find all of the content at mx3.vip or on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MX3 Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified of all of our new content, which comes out every Monday and Thursday afternoons now.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
I said Monday morning for years.
Yeah.
Now you've switched it up on me.
Yeah, trying to keep you in check.
I think you're sleeping in. That's why you need the evening deal now, right?
Hey, we're just trying some things.
Trying some things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apparently what we've been doing is working. I don't know why we're changing this up, but I like it. For everyone who's been a part of this show of Money, Motivation, and Mike, continue to live your life the right way.